Okay, so my name is Max Fomin. I'm a student at the Manchester Film School and I've written an 8 to 10 minute screenplay for a short film script writing project that we've all been given. So my film's called Just Our Time. The theme of the film is sort of like a coming of age teen, love film, like chick flick. You have the four main characters. The first one is Lily. She's like your typical girl next door. She's very cute, more than like insanely hot or attractive. She's very intellectual. She's going away to study law in London, so we know she's very smart. I've always seen her as quite like a sort of shy person, personally, when I've been writing about her. Second one is Tom. Again, he's more of your typical guy next door. Very good looking bloke. I've always pictured him with tall, dark and handsome sort of person. Very laid back and again quite reserved and shy when he talks and how he tells things to people. He wants to go to uni, but he doesn't know if he wants to really. Like he won't take the big step into going to uni. He wants to do engineering potentially, so I think it's a bit tough for him. There's Dan, which is Tom's newer friend. Basically Tom and Lily have been best friends since childhood for like over a decade. And Dan, who's like a newer friend, he's only been in the picture for like 3 years or something. He's very cocky, he thinks he's hot and he's not, he thinks he can get whoever, whenever, just a bit of a dick really. And then there's Mel, who's Lily's newer friend, again very recent, about 2 years or so. And she's very much the same as Dan, she thinks that she's very hot, she's not really, she has to have loads of makeup on, and she's just a bit of a brat really. She thinks that she can get whoever she wants. But yeah, and this is set in a suburban town in Cornwall. It's just a fictional town, haven't come up with a name for it yet. So the synopsis is Lily, a girl living in a town in Cornwall, is only days away from going to study law in London. Childhood friend Tom wants to give Lily the best send-off as possible, but he doesn't quite know how, especially as there's a big secret of how Tom is in love with Lily that he's been keeping from her for over a decade. At Lily's farewell party, Tom's good friend Dan teams up with Mel to stop the couple falling in love and despising a plan to record Lily on a phone and then later manipulating it to sound like she doesn't actually like Tom. After Tom and Lily spend a wonderful last day, so Tom basically takes her to this amusement park and it's all very lovey-dovey, like they used to do as kids. The recording, that night Dan shows Tom the recording, the manipulated recording, and Tom's basically heartbroken and he doesn't even want to say goodbye to Lily. He's that heartbroken. But so the day of moving, of Lily leaving to go off to London, Dan pops over to make sure that Tom is alright, but he carelessly leaves his phone with Tom while he goes off inside to eat. And then that's when Dan mistakenly picks up his identical phone and plays the original recording, and then he actually realises how he feels, how Lily really feels about Tom, and that she doesn't actually doesn't actually hate him. And he tries to run to go and get Lily before it's too late, before she goes off to uni, to tell him that he really does love her. Where did I get the idea? Well, I got it from a few films. There's The Duff 2015, which is about a girl who is seen as sort of I think it's the designated ugly fat friend. of the group. And then actually the guy who's been calling her that the whole time actually ends up falling in love with her in the end. So that's where I got the idea of them both falling in love with each other. Easy A, that's about this really like sweet little girl who's never kissed anyone. She was going to have her first kiss with this guy when they were younger, and the whole film is just made up of her like saying she's had sex with loads of people and actually she hasn't. And it all just sort of, I know, she gets bullied quite a lot, and then in the end this guy that she was meant to kiss and like at the beginning, they end up getting together at the end and it's really nice. And then the last one is a road trip, which is about a guy and a girl who've been going up for ages, like since childhood. They finally like have to go to different unis, and they end up by, the guy sleeps with a girl at his uni and then accidentally sends her the sex tape. So then they have to try and get down to her uni before the tape gets there to confront her about it. But actually he ends up falling in love with someone else. So they're all, again, that's where I got the uni idea from as well, and then the race against time. So the themes of this is sort of coming of age, because Tom and Lily, they're trying to find stuff out about each other. They're trying to find where their friends are, where their heads are at, and again find their love for each other. And romance, because it's that one of those boy meets girl, but they've always known who the girl is and who the boy and girl are. And then drama, because of the whole deception between Dan and Mel, and always wanting, and Dan and Mel like always wanting to try and manipulate the situation. Where will it be filmed? So I was thinking it could be filmed at the college. The bedrooms would be filmed, we could just make up a set of a bedroom and just keep swapping that out. Ideally we'd need a sort of suburban place for the houses, just an outside shot. We don't really need to go in. The only thing we would need is a kitchen and a lounge, but I know that we have, and a hallway, but I know we have that at uni, so we can just build that. And I was thinking for the arcade scene we could just go to the Trafford Centre, as I know there's a very good arcade there. It's called Namco Arcade in the Trafford Centre. My inspiration for writing this is, I don't know, personally I think it's quite embarrassing, but it's basically about my girlfriend who was going to go off to university, and I'm just there like, I don't know if I want to go to uni yet. I do want to go to uni eventually, but I'm not sure. And I think I felt like Tom, where I wasn't ready to make the plunge, but I just thought, do you know what, there's a good film school, which is what I want to do, like the whole engineering to film school. I sort of mastered it by that. And then, yeah, she went to go study to be a doctor, so that's sort of like the academic side with her and Lily. And there wasn't actually any sort of like manipulation with anyone. I just threw that in for the whole drama aspect of it. But it was just very, I don't know, I think I felt like I sort of made a sacrifice, but I also didn't, because it's actually been the best thing I could have done. And I wouldn't be talking to you guys now. But yeah, I think I wanted this film to end in a good way, because it is a good thing that's happened out of all of this, to me anyway. The challenges I face when doing this is actually, well, it's coming up with the idea, because originally I wanted to do something with my great-grandfather, because about how he escaped the Russian Revolution. I just thought, actually, that's very long, and it can be saved for another time. You know, it's a good like 2-hour-long script, and I'm not writing that. The second challenge I faced when writing this was actually writing down how I felt with my feelings and everything, because I'm not a very open person. I used like to just keep everything bottled up, so writing about me was very weird, and I sort of struggled with that. And by far the biggest challenge was the word count, because halfway through Easter and about 20 or 30 pages into what I thought was a feature film, I found out that I only had to do about 6 to 10 pages. So I ended up having to scrap all of that and then redo it. So I don't know, it was a challenge, but I guess I had to just sort of trim everything down and rewrite it. But I always say it's better to have more than not enough. But yeah, there's the bibliography for the photos as well. But do you have any questions?
Have you thought about budget at all?
Budget.
How much do you
I
think it's
had a
going to
little
cost?
think about budget because, like, I'm not sure. Personally, I'd want to do it quite cheap, as I'm sure everyone else would.
Mhm.
I mean, if I had a big Hollywood budget, I would. But
Because your budget's probably going to be around £1,000.
yeah,
From
probably
uni.
about £1,000. Try and be a bit cheapo about the actors, and you know we've got that lovely big hallway bit. Just recycle and use that. But no, I'm not going to go all out on a budget, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got like a style in mind, like visually, how you want it to look?
So the camera just cut out. We're carrying on from question.
Yeah, what style do you want it to be, like how you want it to look?
I think I want it to be in sort of an American style because everything that I've watched from all the films, they've all been American style. So the Darth Easier Road Trip, they're all American. There's also a few others like American Pie, I've been quite big on. And that suburban photo I showed you, that was all American as well. Because in my mind when I was writing it, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, just very like warm, you know, dead of summer when you can just sort of chill and do whatever you want outside.
Mm-hmm.
And just very happy and lovey.
Have you thought about who you want to play the cast?
I have,
Any actors?
yeah, names escape me, but very, very good looking people. There's a very good looking guy actually. There's a guy called Nick Bateman, but I think he's a bit too old. He is gorgeous, but I think he's a bit too old.
So a younger version.
Yeah, a younger version of him. The kind of girl I'd want to play on the other hand, I can tell you that straight away. There's a girl called Nina Dobrev, who is also stunning. She was in Let's Be Cops and Vampire Diaries. Or I was thinking of like a blonde person as well,
Mm-hmm.
but I really don't know at the moment. There's only people that I know I know from real life that I could think to play them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's just a bit, I don't know, like when you're on the bus you see people walking past and you think, oh, they'd be good in my film, but you never know.
Okay. Still got a couple more minutes. Roughly how long is yours running at the moment?
It's running at about 10 to 12 minutes, so I do need to cut it down a little bit, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, does he catch up to her?
No, this is interesting because I watched a film called Drive with Ryan
Yeah.
Gosling in, and in that film he's been stabbed and he's driving off into the night and it's left open for whoever to, you know, think, oh, does he die, does he live? And that's exactly what the director wanted, and that's exactly what I sort of wanted in my film, you know. He runs to get her, he says, I love you, she says, I love you too, and then it ends. You don't know if she goes off to uni, you don't know if she stays, you don't know if he goes off with her, you don't know if he stays, or if, you know, they get together in a year, whatever. And I wanted it to be open for interpretation, because I think that that's what art and filmmaking is.
Mm. Have you thought about any festivals or that you might enter it into, or how you might market the film once it's completed?
Not really. With marketing, I thought a little bit about that. Mostly just posters and maybe a few radio things, but nothing major.
Okay.
Just as long as the word gets out. Probably social media is the easiest way as well.
Mhm.